Welcome to Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, where the temperatures are high and conditions will be tough for the drivers.
Hello everyone and welcome to the final episode of my F2 2019 season, and we are here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix round of the championship for at the Yas Marina circuit, and I am very much looking forward to this one. We've got a comfortable lead in the championship. That's not the focus for this episode. We're going to try to get the Constructors' Championship in this episode. We have a lot of work to do if we want to do that, and the Yas Marina circuit is quite a tricky one, so we will be putting in the laps in practice to make sure we're up to speed, and hopefully that will be enough to get us the Constructors' Championship. But at the same time, I also need to count on my teammate Hubert to be competitive as well. Otherwise we won't have a chance, because you can guarantee both Sergio Sedicamera and Nicholas Latifi will be very, very quick as ever, and they will be also fighting for their positions in the championship as well. I believe the way things stand, Sedicamera is out of the championship. He can't win, but Nick de Vries is just about in it. If he scores maximum points, including pole position and fastest laps, he can still win the championship, I think. But other than that, it is just between myself and Nicholas Latifi. But we have quite a significant gap in the championship, so if we do well in the first race, I think we can clinch it early and then focus on the constructors in the second race if we can.
As all cars are now over the line, your top three again are... That result also seals the Formula 2 World Championship title. Congratulations to our winner after an incredible season. Sedicamera, Giotto and Jordan King. Where Dams have taken the team's championship title. They are this year's Formula 2 team champions. Thank you for joining us for free practice today. We'll be back with more Formula 2 action very shortly.
Are you okay, Alex? I actually looked at the championship after he said that, just to make sure both championships are definitely still open. Especially the constructors is actually quite close. So yeah, I don't know what that was about. He seems to think the championships are wrapped up, or I've got no idea what that was about. But anyway, fourth in practice, so the pace is pretty decent. Hubert competitive as well, so we have every chance of getting this constructors title. So let's get into qualifying, and hopefully we can continue this form.
Here we are at the beautiful Yas Island circuit, where qualifying is about to begin. The teams are ready, the drivers are ready. I think we're all ready then, so let's watch them get underway.
Alright, so here we are for qualifying, so let's see what we can do. First lap out, and through the first corner fairly nicely, and this left-right section here, very tricky, smashing the sign there, just turning in too early, and that's cost us quite a lot of time over the curbs there, and all kinds of out of control. But somehow we managed to keep the car pointing in the right direction, and save it from what could have been a very big crash there. And as has happened to me in the past at that section of track, if you run wide over those curbs. But DRS open along the back straight, this very wide back straight is a bit of an odd thing, where it gets wider and then narrows up again for the corners. But anyway, into the chicane halfway through the straight, and DRS open once again for the second half of the back straight. There's a car up ahead, but I don't think we'll be catching up to them, so it shouldn't be an issue for us. But just something to potentially contend with at the end of the lap, we'll see. but through the triple chicane and into the last sector now, just trying to keep the car on the track really, and just get through this lap. It's a very long lap it seems. They just, especially this last sector, just seems to go on forever, and there's a lot of corners to get right. And now as we go under the hotel and towards the final two corners, finally we'll see what time we can achieve and where that will put us versus the field. So now through the final corner and short run to the finish, a bit like Russia, and we currently will go to P11, P12 as we move on to another lap, trying to improve, but it just wasn't happening for us. So we'll need to potentially go back into the pit lane, cool down the tyres, and go again. And you can see we're on the super soft tyres again, so I considered switching to the softs. But again, as you can see, just not finding any improvement as we head into the last sector of the lap. So qualifying proving to be very tricky, and it's a little bit concerning.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top three are that
Get in the bin.
Welcome then to the United Arab Emirates. Our F2 drivers are on the grid and we're moments away from lights out for the start of the Formula 2 Abu Dhabi race. So the Yas Island circuit offers 21 corners and a lap distance of around 3.4 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass with long straights and DRS zones in two places, turns 8 and 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed, and plenty of excitement for the fans, no doubt. In the commentary box for the big race today, I'm Alex Jakes, and joining me once again, it's Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as well as being the 2012 GP2 champion, you also have experience as a test driver in F1. What would you say are the biggest differences for people fresh to the world of F2?
Well, Alex, I think it's an exciting time in Formula 2 right now. For spectators, a lot of excitement comes from all the drivers being in the same car. That puts the emphasis on driver skills, meaning lots of overtakes, which means exciting race for us.
Let's look at the grid order for today's race while the cars make their final preparations. A fantastic effort from Sergio Sette Camara yesterday puts him on pole position, and Luca Ghiotto completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Aitken, Latifi, Guan Yu Zhou, and De Vries, Schumacher, Delatraz, Ilott, Jordan King, Mazepin, Alesi, Tatiana Calderon, and Boschong, Galeo, Hubert, Raghunathan, and Dorian Boccolacci. Matsushita and Juan Manuel Correa completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, this is it. Last race of the season. All you have to do is finish in the points ahead of Devon, and the next time we see each other, you'll be the F2 World Champion. No pressure then. Good luck.
Why is everyone just saying completely the wrong thing today? That is ridiculous. But anyway, we are going to switch the tyre strategies around to start on the super soft tyres, make some positions at the start, go for an early pit stop, and it seems like everyone else is starting on the harder compound, so we'll be very quick at the start of this one. Lights are out and we are underway for the feature race here in Abu Dhabi. It's a pretty good start there by Alesi just ahead of us, Boschung side by side, and gets through there. So we're immediately losing a whole bunch of positions. Nikita Mazepin there on the inside as well, but that is not Mazepin, that's Correa rather. But we managed to hold him off, so it's not completely a disaster, but still dropping a whole bunch of positions off the start of this one. But we managed to fight our way past Ralph Boschung as we go through to the end of the first sector, and we are right behind our teammate Hubert, who is in turn side by side, or behind the two cars side by side of Mazepin and Alesi. But as we get to the end of the straight, they're all moving across to the inside, so we go down the outside of a whole bunch of cars. Hubert and Mazepin not quite being able to get Alesi, but we do manage to overtake two cars there, and move our way up into P12, one spot higher than our grid position. So not a complete disaster at the start of this one.
Alright, well done off the line, we're in a good position.
And it makes sense that we should be coming through the field. We've got the softer tyres on, so we will hopefully be able to continue this march forwards and close the gap to the cars in front. You can see there's a gap, but we do very quickly catch up to Giuliano Alesi, so it's only a matter of time before we find an opportunity as we go out over those bumpy curbs again, down the outside into the chicane here at the end of the first sector, around the outside, and we actually get past fairly easily there of Giuliano Alesi. So we are making some progress up into P11 now, only one position away from the points. So I should also mention that if Nicholas Latifi wins the race, he will still be in the fight if we get some low-end points as we go down the inside of Callum.
Brilliant, nice move.
And now as we catch up to Jordan King, go down the inside of Jordan King into the first corner and take that position. So moving our way up now into P9 in this one. Jordan King though is going to come back at us and down the outside here, but we're just going to cover him off on the inside and hold that position. But to finish my point, if Nicholas Latifi wins this race, we get low end points, he will still be in the fight. But if we just get even a couple of points and he gets second,
We're doing one more stop today. One stop left in our strategy. You'll pit with no opens in 2 laps time.
we will win the
Right,
championship
come in at the end of this lap.
one race early. So that is the goal, get just a few points back end of the top 10 hopefully, and that will be enough to seal the championship for us. But anyway, we go into the pit lane and hopefully we'll get a decent stop and we'll be able to get some good laps in clean air on some fresh tyres. And that's my goal, to try to move a bit further forwards in this one, because it's just not really
Complete, go now.
working out for me. I felt like I was just losing a lot of time battling with other cars, and those super soft tyres were starting to wear out and reach that sort of crossover point where
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
where the medium tyres, or the soft tyres rather, that everyone else was on, were a bit faster as we go into that tunnel. That sounded pretty cool. But yeah, it sort of was getting to that point, so yeah, I decided to go for a bit of an early stop, but we will be on these tyres for the rest of the race, and hopefully they'll be very consistent for us, and we'll be able to put in a few good laps, and hopefully move a few positions up further, move up a few further positions, I should say. But as we move
Great
on,
job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
we do get the fastest lap, which is to be expected. We're on the freshest tyres out of everyone, but eventually we do catch the back of the train again, and it's going to be a while until they pit. So I could have just made life even worse for myself. We go down the inside of Matsushita into the first corner, and we've got the fresh tyres, no real competition there. But strange to see Matsushita so far back. He's one of the best in the business in Formula 2, so I'm not sure what he's doing down in last place. Maybe he has some kind of issue with his car, which is very likely. But we get a run on Callum, who's dropped a lot of positions. We passed him for P10 at the final corner a while ago, and now he's down in second last. Now we go around the outside of Mahavir Raghunathan, and we get that position. So
Nice move. Good job.
So we move on, and Sean Galeo has blown up his engine right in front of us there, but not going to hold us up. But a shame for him, he will not be finishing the final feature race of the season. But meanwhile for us, we are catching up to Dorian Boccolacci. We've got the DRS here in the slipstream. Can we make a very aggressive dive? It would be if we can do it here. We go for it down the inside and very deep into that corner, but we do manage to get it pulled up and get ahead of Dorian Boccolacci. That was a crazy move. Somehow we managed to get through there though, and Boccolacci, we've already dropped him by a large number of car lengths. But as we move on, you can see getting held up a little bit in the last sector now by Ralph Boschung, who in turn is stuck behind Correa. So Correa actually started last, so he's made up quite a few positions. I did notice he had a pretty good start to the race and made a few positions up there, but it is taking us quite a while to affect the move on these two. Boschung just keeps getting DRS, but we get a good run through the triple chicane and we go for a move just into that left-hander, and a very unusual place to go for it, side by side through the last sector now, around the outside, and we're going to be able to pull this up into this right-hand hairpin, not quite. Boschung's still there, and we're going to hold it to the inside here, and another left-hand corner should see us pull ahead. So a great fight there, side by side for a long time with Ralph Boschung. He did not give that one up easily, and we get a nice run through the first little left-right of the circuit on Correa and get the move done quite easily there with a nice run. So we are getting through the field, but we're just getting held up a lot, and that seems to be the story of this race. And now Correa is coming back at us as we head into the middle sector chicane, and making a big mistake there, just running in too deep, but we managed to control that and hold on to the position. In position 13 we are now, and don't forget, everyone else still has a pit stop to make, so things will get a bit better for us, but the advantage I was hoping to gain is not going to be much, as everyone else now pits. So we'll see where we re-emerge after everyone makes their stop. We are currently in P8, so things aren't actually too bad. We definitely haven't gained any positions. We have Louis Delatrez up ahead, who we haven't seen in this race. Jordan King behind us, who we obviously overtook before. Jordan King, though, going for a move into the final corner and getting it done. So Jordan King has the fresh tyres now and the softer tyres, so it'll be quite a battle on our hands if we want to try to keep him behind. It's just not even possible, and he manages to get through there. So P9 seems to be the maximum at this point, but we move along anyway, and we're going to try to get back past, but we completely miss the middle sector chicane there, and we do get past him, but get an illegal overtake obviously. But lucky not to get a corner cut warning. But we go down the inside into the triple chicane. Is he out of lock up there? And that is a mistake he couldn't afford to make, because we have gotten back through ahead of Jordan King. So very lucky there that he made that mistake. But it's going to come back at us into the chicane once again. But we're going to be later on the brakes, as we tend to be, and sweep around the outside to the inside. And we can't quite get the move done though, as King gets the better exit on the faster line through the corner. We were tucked on the inside, but he squeezed us almost into the wall there. But with the DRS open, we managed to come back at him down the inside, and we run a little bit wide, and he switches back to the left, side by side through the triple chicane, and we just about managed to hold it around the outside and get ahead of Jordan King once again. We're starting to maybe form a bit of a queue behind us, so that's something we'll have to watch out for. But as we move on defending into the triple chicane, it is getting increasingly difficult to keep these cars behind, but I'm hoping that...
You're sat in P8. The gap to the car ahead is 12.7 seconds. Okay, gap to leader, 27.1 seconds. The pit window is open. Pit window currently open. 7 laps to go.
I'm hoping that if we hold them off for long enough, the tyres will go off, but we make a little mistake, run wide. Schumacher gets through. We get a switch back along the next mini straight, and we're going to try and hold it around the outside through the second last corner, and we make contact, and that has actually damaged our front wing. We go for a dive down the inside and get the position back, make a bit more contact. We bang wheels, but that is a very costly mistake.
Be careful with the front wing.
And yeah, Jeff there telling us about the damage, so we're going to have to watch out for that. We're going to be very, very slow through the left-handers now, with the right front end plate missing off of the car. So a bit of a disaster at the end of this one, but it's not the end of the world. We still might just be able to hold on to a couple of points if we drive smartly. So let's just hope that we can do that. Right now we're defending again from Schumacher, who's trying to go down the inside. And again, we just about hold on at the end of that first straight, but now along the second straight he's going to have the DRS. But we actually got a pretty decent exit, so it'll be pretty close whether he catches up. He's in the slipstream following along. But we just cover off the inside just slightly, and we manage to hold him off there. So just managing still, even with damage, to keep the position. But we can't afford a single mistake. So as we move on through the laps, he's going to come back at us again to the chicane, to the inside, and we hold it around the outside very late on the brakes there. You can see he actually cuts the corner a bit there, but we'll have the inside line for the right hander. We move all the way out to the edge of the road, make sure there's nowhere for him to go there, and that completely ruins his exit when he was out on the curb, and there is no traction there. So we've given ourselves a bit of breathing space for now, but that's going to evaporate very quickly as we understeer through all the left-handers, especially this one here. We run wide and Schumacher's already through, so that's how quickly he made up that gap. So we're going to have to be lightning fast for the rest of this sector, but unfortunately that wasn't enough, and we have lost DRS to Mick Schumacher. So now I think P9 is definitely the maximum that we can get. Schumacher has P8 locked down at this point.
Seconds. Your pit window is open. Pit window is open. 4 laps remaining.
4 laps left, so not long left in this race at all, and we are under siege once again. Jordan King is on the attack this time, and the next car behind him is Giuliano Alesi, and he's not too far behind either. So we're going to have to watch out for him as we are still just trying to hold on. Very, very tricky to manage the understeer while defending a position, but we're just about managing it for now. And as we go on through the laps, you can just see that he's just always just gets alongside, but never quite can manage to get the position off of us. And now, as I just mentioned, Alesi has caught up, and he'll be a factor in this battle as well. We're going to block off the inside line here, make them go the long way around, which they're going to try, but once again we'll be able to hold the position through on the inside. The inside line is king. Even with a bit of damage, we are able to hold on to the position so long as we have the inside line, as we run a little bit wide there. So Alesi though unfortunately gets through. We go for a dive into the first corner to try to get back past, but
10th position.
A bad exit out of the final corner, and that lost us that position. But as we go onto the straight, Jordan King and Hubert race past us, but late on the brakes, and around the outside we go, and we managed to get those positions back. So even with the damage, we can still be later on the brakes than the cars we're racing against. But we don't have DRS here. Jordan King does, but it's not going to stop us from going back down the inside into the triple chicane, and we're getting that position back.
You made it look easy.
So that is really, really saving us in this race, is just the ability we have to brake a bit later than everyone else. So I'm not sure what that is, but it is certainly playing into our hands at the moment. So moving on now to the final lap of the race. Jordan King coming back at us once again. Jordan King and Hubert hanging around as well. So we're going to have to defend because it's 3 wide, and we just about managed to block off both of them there. And it looks like Hubert is going to get the better exit there versus King, and he might be the one causing trouble for us later on in the lap. But we move on now to the end of the race. The race winner is Sergio Sette Camera. So with the points that we have, or the singular point that we have for 10th position, it seems unlikely that Nicholas Latifi can stay in the championship fight. So we'll find out very soon. But for this race, it's 10th place. Not a great result, really.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
A great win then for the Dams team today. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out of everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way around.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It might have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now. We have a new Formula 2 World Drivers' Champion. That result also seals the Formula 2 World Championship title. Congratulations to our winner after an incredible season. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
Alex, I go for Antoine Hubert. The other driver, he was spectacular today. What an overtake! Fantastic.
On to the teams then, where Dams have taken the team's championship title. They are this year's Formula 2 team champions. Dams move further ahead at the top of the standings. And after all that excitement, I think it's time for a lie down. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
So, we are the Formula 2 World Champions. That is incredible that we managed to wrap it up a race early. Nicholas Latifi only managing a third place finish in that race was never going to be enough to keep him in the fight. So that is very fortunate for us. But unfortunately, it was a 1-3 for the Dams team, so they locked down the team's championship. There's no way we can catch up to them. So that's a bit unfortunate. There's not really anything to play for in this final race. So for me, it will just be a challenge to see if we can maybe get on the podium. The race win might be a little bit too far-fetched starting from P10, but I think it'll be a fun way to end the season as a bit of a challenge. So that will be all there is really left to play for in the next one. But yeah, not the greatest race to take the win in the championship. So a bit of a bittersweet race in that manner. But nonetheless, it is championship over, and yeah, just this last race where we can just enjoy it. Look at the damage on the nose of the car, by the way. I'm not sure what incident that came from, but that would have potentially been affecting us throughout that race. That was probably from yeeting it over the curbs at some point, now that I think about it. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember rear-ending another car like what happened in Italy. So I'm not sure where that came from. I'm not sure if that would happen from the curbs or not. But anyway, look at these battles with the AI. I have to say, the AI in the F1 game, or especially in F1 2019, is absolutely incredible. Like, yeah, it is amazing. Compared to other games that I've played recently, like Forza or Gran Turismo 6, which was a long time since I've played that. But the AI in those sorts of games, they really don't do anything. So you know, in these F1 games, the way they sort of move around and slipstream and overtake is really cool. Anyway, let's get into the sprint race and try and get another podium.
And we're back. After yesterday's feature race, the top 8 drivers have been reversed on the grid, setting up some exciting action as we launch into today's event. the sprint race. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
Okay, this is it. Last race of the season. All you have to do is finish in the points ahead of Devon, and the next time we see each other, you'll be the F2 World Champion. No pressure then. Good luck.
Again with the dodgy radio messages. Yeah, whatever. 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the final race of the season. And it is a pretty decent start for us. And yeah, we can work with this as we head into the first corner. Hubert is going around our outside. We're just going to leave him the space there and let him take the line. We don't need to lose our front wing here. Jordan King through as well. So we have dropped a few spots, but we'll try to get those back as quickly as possible. Now we have nothing to lose. We can be aggressive. I just wanted to make it through the first corner, down the inside of King, Hubert and Giuliano Alesi, round the outside of Alesi into the second sector, down the inside into the hairpin and onto the straight. Very aggressive there, and we make all 3 of those positions stick. So moving back up to a position ahead of where we started actually, passing Alesi. Sede Camera is up next, so can we make a big dive into the chicane? Yes we can, down the inside, and not spearing into Giotto this time, and we make that position stick. So really nice move there from a long way back, but as they all sort of stack up on the first lap, you can get away with doing that, and from time to time you even see the AI getting away with that, as we saw with Radkunnathan in Hungary. So anyway, as we move on through the rest of this lap, we're going to try and close up to the back of the next car, which is Jack Aitken by the time we get there, and we go down the inside into the triple chicane. We get that move done pretty nicely, and now we can try to focus on Luca Giotto, who has the fastest lap at the moment. So he's obviously got some serious pace, but we take that fastest lap, and along the back straight, we're very late on the brakes. We go for a last minute flick to the inside, down the inside of Luca Giotto, over the curb, round the outside, and we get a decent exit, and we're side by side, and with a DRS as we head into the triple chicane, we make that position quite easily. And now we are out into position 6, just 3 spots away from the podium that we're aiming for. So things are looking pretty good in this race as we go flying over those curbs again. I didn't learn from the last race that that can damage the car. Look at the angle that we got on that time. That was crazy. But anyway, down the inside of Guan Yu Zhou into the chicane, and we get that position, squeeze him out there a bit aggressively, blocking off the line. He's going to get a pretty decent run actually on the right hand side, and we're going to have to sit in the slipstream, and Giotto actually gets us as well. So we are going to have to re-overtake both of them down the inside into the triple chicane, and Giotto switches back, gets the position. Really nice driving there from Giotto to read the play there and place his car just where he needed to get through in the lead of this little battle. So yeah, really nice driving, but we eventually get him back for that, and go down the inside and overtake him in a very unusual place there, but doesn't matter where we overtake him. The fact is that we have, and now we have caught up to Mick Schumacher, who has dropped back since he started on the reverse grid pole, I believe. So a little bit unusual to see that he's dropped so far, or at the very least he was near the front. But anyway, we eventually find a way to go down the inside into the first corner and get past Mick Schumacher quite easily there.
Nice move.
And now we are in P4, one position away from our podium, our target for this race. And who should be ahead of us other than Nicholas Latifi in this race. So this is going to be a bit of a personal battle for pride for Nicholas Latifi. He obviously maybe had a bit more of a inconsistent season.
Gap ahead is 4.2 seconds, 2.6 seconds.
At least through the mid-season.
That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
But you can see that we were catching him quite quickly, and now we go down the inside of Louis Delatraz and barge him out the way because Nicholas Latifi managed to put a car in between us. Look at this on the replay. I did not want to waste any time with that, and we absolutely barged Louis Delatraz out of the way. He would not have seen that coming at all, but we just about managed to get through there. That looked quite insane. So yeah, sorry about that, Louis, but we have places to be. But unfortunately for us, Delatraz has other ideas, and we're battling away with him through the middle sector chicane once again, and Delatraz gets the better of us on that occasion, but we'll have the DRS towards the triple chicane, so let's see if we can overtake him again there. We've got a run, we're going to go to the inside, just find enough space there, down the inside, and he swipes across us there a little bit, and manages to switch back, but we thoroughly block off that line. But we have lost a lot of time in that little battle with Delatraz, so unfortunately it looks like we may have lost our chance to battle with Nicholas Latifi at the end of this race.
In front is 5.0 seconds. They're on old softs.
Yeah, so 5 seconds is quite a long distance to try to make up as we go out over those curves again. So really risking the front wing every time you do that. But I'm not even sure if there's time to gain. But it's not intentional, it's just if you get the line wrong through the turns 2 and 3, that can happen. But just half a lap after we were 5 seconds behind, we are right behind him. Nicholas Latifi, I'm not sure if he's got damage or some kind of issue, but he is incredibly slow. So there is something going on with Latifi's car, and that could push things into our favour once again. You can see just in that short time we've gained about a second.
Separate you. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 20 laps old. They have some kind of mechanical problem. The time last lap was a 1:59.6. We're gaining by around 4 seconds per lap.
Oh wow, 4 seconds a lap is quite ridiculous. So we're going to go down the inside into the chicane. Not quite going to be able to pull it up there and make the move, but we're going to switch back along the second part of the back straight, and we will make the move there with the DRS and the extra momentum there, so pretty easy in the end. But so unfortunate there for Latifi. Losing 4 seconds a lap is quite ridiculous, so there is something seriously wrong with his car. On the straights it seemed okay, so I assume he must be losing that time in the corners. So yeah, something has gone wrong there. But for us, it just hands us P2, and the rest of this race will just be bringing it home. Only 1 lap to go, so yeah, he almost made it. But yeah, something has gone wrong on the third to last lap of the race, really. His pace was fine up until then. So yeah, they will be looking into that long into the night.
This is your final lap of the race. We're leading our teammate by 8.6 seconds.
At the Dan's team. But for us though, it has been a pretty successful race, driving from P10 all the way up to P2, especially in comparison to the last one where we only really moved forward a few positions in a much longer race. So I feel like in the feature race, the alternate strategy just didn't work out for us. So yeah, glad we were able to make up for it in this one, as we now have Louis Delatraz to contend with, as I've become a little bit complacent, I suppose, on this last lap, and made a bit of a mistake at the hairpin. Delatraz round the outside as we head towards the middle sector chicane. Delatraz around the outside. He's actually got a lot of grip there, it seems, but we're going to hold it around the outside through the right-hander there, and we'll be able to stay ahead, thankfully, of Louis Delatraz. But that was a hard-in-mouth moment there, almost losing our second place. But as we move on to the end of the race, Nick de Vries is your race winner for the final race of the season, and that is a dominant display there from the Dutchman, who will be heading off to Formula E. But for us, it's a very solid P2 to end the season.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So another fantastic victory for ART today. Tell me, Davide, what was the key to this success?
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out of everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way around.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It might have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now. We have a new Formula 2 World Drivers' Champion.
Well, there you go. We are the new Formula 2 champions for 2019.
That result also seals the Formula 2 World Championship title. Congratulations to our winner after an incredible season. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
I go for Tatiana Calderon. She was so fast today. She really impressed me.
Where Dams have taken the team's championship title. They are this year's Formula 2 team champions. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from ART this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. And after all that excitement, I think it's time for a lie down. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
Well, there you go. What a finale race that was. I have to say, I have thoroughly enjoyed these Formula 2 cars, and I think they are a fantastic addition to the F1 games, and I really hope that they're here to stay for F1 2020, and even in fact I hope that Formula 3 becomes a feature at some point. When that is, I'm not sure, but I do hope that they continue to add these sorts of things to the game, because yeah, I really think it adds an extra layer, especially in the career mode. Just that intro sequence introducing Devin Butler and Lucas Weber, it's a really cool dynamic, and the Formula 2 sort of sequence really adds a lot to the game. So yeah, I've really appreciated the Formula 2. But anyway, as for this championship, I'm surprised really that we didn't see more of Nick de Vries. Given how fast he was in real life, he was very much unbeatable on occasion. Yeah, surprised we didn't really see more of him. And same can be said for Matsushita. Won a few races in real life, but in the game he was quite often right at the back of the grid, so very strange, very strange. But anyway, that is just the way that it panned out. But you can see how many times in this on this replay that we ran out over those curbs, and that could be where we keep damaging the nose of our car, as you can see again we have done in this one. But anyway, I'm thinking that I will potentially do the Formula 2 World Tour Championship, so all the tracks that they don't normally go to, which is also a cool idea that they put in the game, but we'll see. But there we go. There is the proof. Formula 2 champions. We get the gold star for our efforts, and there you go. Formula 2 champions as Tatiana Calderon. What more could you want? Right, Jonathan? Anyway, so we get this lovely trophy from Codemasters for winning this championship, and I've got a couple of trophies for the weekly events, but this is the first proper, I guess, career mode slash, Grand Prix championship mode trophy that I've got. So that's really cool to receive that. Obviously, not getting a race win yet in my F1 career, so yeah, not getting that trophy. So here we go, putting it in my trophy cabinet. Very nice. And replacing the other one with the better weekly event one. The trophies, I have to say, look pretty cool, and hopefully I'll be able to grab a few more before the next game comes out, because I really don't have too many at the moment. But anyway, not much left to say other than thank you very much for watching this all the way to the end, and I will see you when I see you, probably in the next video if you watch it. See you then. Goodbye. And it's lights out and away we go for the feature race in Bahrain. And now we've got a battle on our hands with Matsushita. He squeezes us almost into the wall. And we get our first race win in Formula 2 in Azerbaijan. And now through turn 4 we're going to try to go around the outside of Mahavir Raghunathan. He's pushed us off the road, we're spinning around. And now Antoine Hubert rounds the final corner and he's going to cross the line to win the sprint race here in Spain. This is not where safety car restarts happen. It's meant to be on the main straight, but we're all the way back here because of just how slow Jordan King was going with his damage. We have gone well into the points into this race, but as we're chasing Schumacher, we hit the inside wall and spin around, and we've held up the field a bit, but we managed to do a full 360 and keep going without losing a position. I've never seen that before.
It's the part we've all been waiting for, the podium finish, and it's probably one of the more unexpected finishes in a while. Try to take the victory.
3 wide up ahead with Giotto, De Vries and Zeddy Camera, and Zeddy Camera's around, we've run into the back of him, and we are around and out of this race. But we got away with it, and Zeddy Camera's so slow through turn 2, we go around the outside, back onto the racing line, and make turn 3 very nicely, and we have taken the lead of the feature race here at Silverstone. And now it is just a matter of getting these tyres through the pit stop window. But speaking of which, we move on to lap 10 and we've got a puncture in the front left tyre, but we are not slowing down for this puncture. We are blazing along the straight at high speed. Hubert is going to overtake Sede Camera at the last opportunity, the final sector of the final lap. Here's how we got it done. He got a great run out of Maggots and Beckett's, and he is right behind ZA Camera, coming towards Stowe down the inside, and he sends it this time, gets the move done, makes the apex, and he takes P2 right at the last minute as we come across the line to win the feature race in Silverstone.
Fantastic drive, just fantastic. You deserve that race win.
See Delatraz and De Vries having a big weave, and by the time we get into the next camera shot, De Vries is already entering the corner backwards. We brake somewhat cautiously into the first corner, and Raikkonen goes for a massive dive bomb down the inside of pretty much everyone. You can see changing the front wing takes absolutely ages. There's crew members running everywhere. I've got no idea what's going on. Luca Kyoto flies past and moves back onto the racing line in front of us, so that's a little bit dodgy. We're around the outside of Guan Yu Zhou into the first corner, and we go in deep. We give Kyoto a hit. He turns around, and we have taken Luca Kyoto out of this race.
Safety car deployed. The safety car has been deployed.
Ralph Boschung heads around Parabolica for the final time, and he's going to cross the line to win the sprint race here in Italy. Ralph Boschung, now a race winner in Formula 2 for the Trident team. We cross the line for P3.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
But it's going to go to the inside. Schumacher to the inside of Kyoto. It's going to be 3 wide heading into turn 2. Schumacher with a big dive down the inside, and a bit of contact between the three of us. Schumacher gets through, and it's lights out, and away we go for the final race of the season. We are the new Formula 2 champions for 2019.